I would like to welcome our next two speakers to the stage because you certainly had enough of me. The first person is someone who needs no introduction. He is an Australian sporting icon and an Australia for UNHCR special representative from the get-go. Please welcome cricketing legend, Mr. Ian Chappell. The second person, who is now familiar with lush green soccer fields but grew up amid the dusty fields of Kakuma Refugee Camp in Kenya with his South Sudanese family, please welcome to the stage the incredibly talented, humble, handsome Adelaide United footballer, Mr. Awer Mabil.
Hello? Yeah. Got you. Thanks, Sandra. Ladies and gentlemen. Awer, in case you're not aware, is a young Socceroo, and in 2014 you were voted the FFA Best Young Male Player. Is that correct?
Yeah, last year was a very good year. Enjoyed it. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the UNHCR for having me. And, you know, being a refugee only 9 years ago, I would not have thought of being in front of everyone here and talking, so thank you.
It's a pleasure. I think we should be thanking you. I remember many years ago hearing the story of Les Murray, who for many years was the face of football on SBS. Les was a refugee from Hungary in 1956. And he told me that what kept him going and what basically kept him alive in the camp was playing soccer. And he said that they got balloons and they blew them up, and then they wrapped, they got garments and they wrapped them around the balloon and turned that into a football and spent a lot of their time playing football. Did you have a similar sort of experience in Kakuma?
Yeah, similar to that. We used the gloves. Is it the doctor gloves?
Yeah, like what the ladies wear washing up and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Well, and some men, I guess. Yeah. Speaking from experience.
Yeah, we use that. We tie the fingers around and then blow it up, and then we'll rip our clothes and then tie that around the balloon, and then it bounces. So we just use that as a ball. And just the living condition it's not great. So playing football was just get rid of our traumatized and every problem we had. So football, I can say, is a big influence sports is a big influence in the refugees, because that's what keeps them busy and keeps their head from thinking about, because there's a lot to be thinking about. And so, yeah, football was a big influence.
And you also were inspired, you had one television set, apparently, in the camp. Yeah. And you used to watch particularly the Premier League and Man United. You're a Man United fan? Yeah. So that passion, where did that come from, the passion to play football?
Yeah, as you said before, there's only one TV or maybe a couple, and you can imagine the camp is full and everyone will come together, and the TV is this small, so you see hundreds of people just watching the TV, the Premier League. It's the main one over there, so that's where the passion started for. When you go down to the camp, it's all about football, so there's a lot of passion there. And when I got out of the camp and came here, I just wanted to make something out of, because not a lot of people have the opportunity to get out of the camp. There's some people that were born there and are still there now. So that's where for me, growing up in the camp made me who I am today, because facing those hardships when I was younger have just kept me hungry for now, to try to make the best out of anything that I got.
You were actually born in Kakuma, in the camp. Was there ever a time when you felt, I won't get out of here?
Yeah, there was because my mom was sort of single mom because my father passed away. So it was hard for my mom, to try to keep us, with food and stuff. And so that was very hard, and it was hard for us to think we'll be somewhere in Australia. We've been like 9 years ago. We never thought we'll make it here. So and thanks to Australia for accepting our family to come here and giving us a second chance. So I'm very grateful for what has come, and it's all thanks to my mom, her hard work she's done, and everything like that. So I owe everything to her.
Yeah, they're pretty good mums, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the best.
So what was the feeling like when you got the news that you were, coming to Australia? Was that the news you got, or just that you were leaving the camp?
Yeah, it was a long process. I think it took about 4 years for us to finally come to Australia. But when I got on the plane, because in the camp all we talk about is we imagine stuff, what Australia, what America, what the Western countries are like. And when me and my friends used to always talk about how you don't have to work, you just sit in your bed and then the breakfast comes to you.
Is that the way you found it?
Nah, it's different. So that was different, but that's what we imagined back there. And yeah, Australia's great, so I like it.
And getting on the plane and then arriving in Australia, what were your first thoughts?
I wanted to go back on the plane because, it wasn't until I started playing for Adelaide United that I went back on the plane,
Yeah.
And now it's too much traveling, so I'm tired of the plane. Yeah.
So your first experiences in Australia, how difficult was that? Going to school, for instance, what was your experience of going to school in the camp and then going to school in Australia? What's the difference there?
There's a massive difference. In the camp, because I went back last year to visit. The schools there they try their best, to do something, but with too much going on in their living, everyone's trying to focus on living, trying to feed their family and stuff. So it's hard for little kids to try to focus at school. And when we came to Australia, we knew it was a good opportunity to get educated. When we came here, we had no English. We didn't know any English. So we went to English school and then, learned English. And there's a lot of difference between the refugee camp school and here.
You were telling me earlier on that you reckon you learnt more by staying out of school, by wagging school in the camp rather than going to school.
Yeah, that's what I learned most, yeah.
And so you spent, 2 years learning English in Australia at the school?
Yeah, actually I've got a good story. I don't think if it's good or bad, but when I first came and, I didn't know any English, so when someone would come up to me and say, hello, how are you, blah, blah, I didn't know what they were saying, so I would just get angry. I'll just push them away and then just go sit down, and then until I learn, I appreciate it. I went and say sorry to the people that I, pushed around when I didn't know English.
Well, you've learned English very well. You sort of added the blah blah at the end. You've learned it.
I don't think that's good English. But
And the opportunities to play football in Australia, how did that come about?
Yeah, as I said before, it was just a passion. Started when I was young in the camps and not having everything, And when I came here, first thing I wanted to do was, play football. And it wasn't until 2 years later I finally got a club. And as we were talking about it before, it's just the passion I had in me, and I just want to, make the most of what I've got here in Australia, because not a lot of people, have opportunities like I've had here. So I just feel very lucky, and thanks to God for the opportunity. Now it's up to me to try to, hopefully make it to where I want to go.
and you're already giving a lot back. You've been back to Kakuma last year with some football equipment, and you're off again tomorrow. So you really don't dislike planes that much because you're jumping on a plane and going back to Africa again tomorrow. Tell us about what you're doing there.
Yeah, last year I went back first time in, I think, 8 or 9 years since coming to Australia. And I took back some soccer shirts. It was only 20. And I had 20 shorts, 20 jumpers. No, 14 shorts and 20 jumpers. And you know, I went back there also to see the living conditions, to visit where I was born and see some family there because there's some people still living there. So yeah, I went there and then went to the oval to play with the kids, and you know, they're all playing barefoot. They got no boots, they got nothing. So I handed out the shirts to the kids, and at the end of that, there was a big argument, you know, about who should wear the shirts and who shouldn't. So we were there for 4 hours arguing, saying, so hopefully they've solved something. Well, we try to do the best we can by saying this team can use a shirt today, and then if they another team play the next week or something, you just give them the shirts and then wash them and then swap them over like that. But I doubt they did that. So, so this year, with the help of Ian Smith, a great family friend of mine, we've made it bigger. We've started a foundation called Barefoot to Boots Foundation, where we've donated over 300 pairs of boots and 300 pairs of shirts, shorts. You can name it. They're all worth to 300 kilos, you know, of stuff. And Qantas has helped us taking everything over. And as I said, we're leaving tomorrow, so I didn't really get much of holiday because I only got 4 weeks of soccer. So the day I come back here, I have to go straight back to soccer. So, but it's for a good cause anyway. So, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good example of why we should be very welcoming of refugees. I think people who have got the determination and the courage to do those things and to have to flee their own country, I think has got to be the worst thing that could ever possibly happen to you. And when you see what they go through and then what they achieve, I think that's one reason why we should, and one of many reasons why we should be much more welcoming to refugees. Congratulations on what you're doing there with the foundation. And finally, your ambitions in football, what would you like to achieve?
Yeah, we can go back again and say the Premier League in England. That's because that was the main league we used to watch back in the camp. So my goal as a kid was to hopefully play there one day. So that's my dream, to play there, and I'll do whatever I can to try to achieve that.
Well, good luck, Awer. I hope you achieve your dream. And you've already converted me because Awer is a Man United fan, and he would obviously like to play for Man United. And I've always said that I barrack for anybody who beats those bastards Man United. But mate, if you get to play for them, I'll barrack for Man United. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Awer for not only turning up and telling his story today, but for what he's giving back to Australia and society. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And just to take your point a little further, Sandra, about politicians, all we keep hearing is about turning back the bloody boats. I would occasionally like to hear about stopping the wars and stopping the conflict that caused so many of the refugees.